Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast, where we cover Peaky Blinders. I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Charles is here. What's up, dude?
Hello there.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Dutch Butters?
Hi.
What's going on, dude?
How you doing? I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm something.
That's all I can ask for. Just be here. Judah's also here.
Hello.
Hello. And finally, Matthew Kadish. What's up?
Yeah, everyone's too sober for this talk.
Yeah.
well, we
Maybe
can-
is that what it is?
We
Is
can
that
take
what it
care,
is?
take
I
care of
need
that.
to smoke some opium.
Opioids.
All right, let's get right into this and talk about this freaking moron, Freddie.
Fucking Freddy.
Freddie, whatever his last name is, I don't even
Thorne.
know.
Thorn.
Thorne, Freddie
It's a
Thorne.
thorn in his
A thorn in
side.
everyone's
Really
side.
is a thorn in everybody's side in this episode specifically. Freddie rolls in with Ada on a boat. He's he's rolling back into Birmingham, or is he
Yes.
rolling?
Because
Birmingham.
they had
Birmingham.
they had a honeymoon, I think.
Yeah, they
So
bounced
can-
out, and now she's back, and it's been a couple of months because her pregnancy is starting to show. And immediately, right off the boat, he starts hawking money around for this
The
communist deal.
cause.
The cause, and word gets around through Jeremiah, who is a spy of Tommy's. He's the black preacher guy, right, with the dreadlocks.
I'd never seen him before. Maybe
I think this is maybe the second time he's showed up on screen, but this is the first time he's ever had lines.
But he came in and I was just like, oh.
Yeah,
Um,
Jeremiah. He's in like one of the first episodes, but he's only like a passerby.
And I will say this though, while Freddie was like giving everyone money and their third cousin, Ada was not looking happy about the situation.
Well, don't forget, Polly gave them enough money to have a honeymoon that never ended.
Right.
They come back and all of a sudden they're fucking broke. It's
Yeah.
because Freddie.
He's using the money.
Yeah.
He took that money and he used it for the cause.
Wait, you mean a communist gave away all their money?
Oh my god.
Oh no.
At least he's congruent.
Wait,
Yeah.
commies give away their money?
Oh.
I need to like go meet some
Yeah.
commies.
He's like, I'm gonna take all of Tommy's money
And
and
give it
away to other people.
Yeah.
I'll take your money. I gotta go make some communist friends.
He's only loyal to
Hello,
Ada when
comrade.
her
How are you
hand is
doing?
around his dick.
Well, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
But that's what Tommy's whole point is. He's like, Freddie, I know you're just doing this to my sister to get to me. He's like, that's the only reason. You don't love her. You don't care about her. If you did, you'd bounce out, take the money, and run. Have a good time.
He does love her,
In his own way.
but
In his own way.
not first, not most.
Yes. He doesn't come first.
No,
Yeah.
not
And,
at all.
and I
Or at all.
And I
sometimes.
think in many ways, he wants a son to, continue his legacy.
Well, I think he wants to be tied to the Shelbys, like with some blood. You know what I mean? He wants that blood tie to the Shelbys. But
I think he thinks that now that he's married to Ada, that gives him some sort of a shield
Immunity.
to be as bold as he is.
Ada's only going to stick up for him for so long.
Yeah.
I can't imagine she's going to keep doing this and be like, yeah, I still love him. Like
Yeah.
that's going to wear off at some point.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna get himself fucking killed.
So Jeremiah rolls up to Tommy, says, hey, I saw Freddie and Ada show up, and then I lost them. And he's like, all right, keep fishing. Go. And then he goes off and does his thing. And then we cut over to the streets of Birmingham, and the Lee family is doing something suspicious.
There's
Getting
some boys
payback.
sneaking into town.
Yeah. Did you guys notice that Tommy clocked him? I don't think he knew who they were, but he does like a double take at
That's
that
right.
wagon down the street. And he's like,
He did see that.
I've
Yeah.
never seen that wagon before. And then he just kind of goes about his business.
I don't like the look of that
I
wagon.
don't like the look of that wagon. That's a suspicious wagon.
Here's an interesting thing. An interesting thing about the situation is that we see the wagon, we see the Lees being Lee pathetic, and then we also see the boy.
Yes, this boy. Can somebody please educate me on who this boy is? He's not the youngest Shelby, is he?
That's-
No.
Was that Finn?
I don't think it was Finn.
It was
a-
no
a
that let him
spy.
in. That I don't think that
Yeah.
was
A
Finn.
spy. It was a spy.
It's just
was
a
somebody
young.
else.
How did this kid get into the interior of the Shelby
Well, there's a
bookkeeping
lot
place?
of in and out people coming in. No one.
Yeah.
noticed
Also,
them.
John has like 4 kids that we've never seen. It could have been one of them.
Well, I mean, there was that guy who came in. He's like, I want to place a bet. I got an inside line, and they're like, race has already started, and he created the distraction so
Yeah.
the boy could
Mhm.
sneak in and hide
Okay.
in the closet.
So it's one of the
until,
Lee's
like-
kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
And then speaking of which, because of that, while that kid was waiting for the right time, at the same time, Johnny was just like, I want a family meeting. And so they all had to leave.
yeah. Well, that was like Tommy was heading there to go get Polly and the rest of the crew to go meet them at the garrison.
Well, the plan was basically the kid was going to hang out in there until they closed down, and then he'd open the door, and the Lees would come in and basically steal all their
Ransom
money
place.
back and
Yeah.
set the booby traps and all that good stuff.
Oh, that's a fun plot point that we
Oh,
will come
yeah.
up with in a minute.
Yeah.
That too.
So anyway, Polly and Tommy and the rest of the crew head over to the garrison while they leave one guy left in charge of the bookkeeping area. And that's when the Lees strike. They roll up with this suspicious wagon and unload just like a clown car of dudes, just one after another. They're all getting out. They all got their billy clubs and their weapons. One dude's got a shotgun. Roll in, attack the poor guy, the bookkeeping clerk or whatever. I mean, he's not even a Shelby, is he? He's just
No.
somebody who works
He's
for him.
just
Works
doing
for
his
him.
job.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was pretty loyal. He didn't break.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But they took quote unquote what was theirs,
Hmm.
right? It was from the side deal that Tommy did where he kind of basically robbed him. And
Yeah.
so they're just coming back. And this is the same dude that got his ear cut off.
Yeah.
So you can see this bandage on his ear. He's like, this is my chance to get comeuppance. I'm going to fix this.
Meanwhile, the family's all at the garrison having a good old laugh
Oh,
over
God.
John's news.
Can we talk about that? Because
Yeah.
that was my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So John has an announcement. He's
Well,
like,
his wife is dead. He has 4 kids. He
Yeah.
has no wife. The kids need a mother. He's decided he's going to take a wife.
he's going to take a wife.
It's just
And
the type of wife.
he chooses Lizzie Stark, who is a
Town ho.
Who
well-known
everyone
town
has
hoe.
named
Mind you,
Starkers.
She's basically Gatehouse Lizzie. We're not talking about a Stark of Winterfell.
No, she is a well-known prostitute in the area, and he's like, I'm gonna marry her. And they all
They're like, no.
even Stone Cold Tommy Shelby is like, it's like, are you for real, bro?
Even Polly, who's always like,
Yeah.
behave yourselves, is
Yeah,
like,
it's like, are you for
She
real?
was making jokes.
Yeah.
They were all making jokes at this poor guy's expense, and he's like, you could have picked anybody, man.
yeah.
Why'd you pick her of all the people?
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. What do you guys think? What was his reasoning? Did you find it
It's a what?
logical? Did you find it
Another person who set their sights on a Shelby and thought that they could get something out of it.
really? You think it's dark?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that she had genuine feelings for him, and I think that she saw a life that could get her out of what she felt like she had to do.
Well,
Hmm.
well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious though, because I honestly didn't think about that at all. That she was trying to play to get into the show, similar to what Frank is doing.
Well, I mean, she's a
Freddie.
single woman
Freddie,
on
thank you.
her own, trying to
Make it.
have a life in this town where it's really hard to you can't have a regular job when you're a woman in 19 what
Yeah.
is it 19
1990.
Yeah.
and
Still
so
19.
she's doing what she can to make ends meet and to take care of herself and to keep herself off the street, and then she sees a Shelby ripe for the picking,
A youngin.
and she's like, I could love him.
I could take
I
care
could
of his
raise
kids.
those kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could have a good ass life as a Shelby. I could get a new hat once a week.
Yes, that's key. The
Yeah.
hats.
The
New
hats.
See,
That's
I,
what
I think so. In the days before the internet and porn in your pocket on demand, so basically the youngest Shelby was visiting this prostitute,
Mhm.
and because he was visiting her so often, he formed an attachment. And because he's a Shelby and he's got money and sway, like she probably started getting feelings for him too, or at least like some ideas. And so I think it was just like one of those convenience things where he's like, I've been banging this girl, I have feelings for her, I want to marry her. And
So Amen syndrome.
yeah,
Also, he's not the youngest.
Oh,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
The younger Shelby, the younger.
Younger of the adults,
Shelby the dumber.
because there's still the little kid who's how old now in this?
He's like 10, I
Yeah.
think.
10-ish, 11.
Yeah.
Anyway, after the meeting, which I think they all kind of just like, it's not settled. They're not like, well, I guess that's what you want to do. They're all just kind of like in this weird hiatus. That's when I think it's Finn, the youngest one, comes in and says, Tommy, they hit the bookkeeping place. So they go back and they're kind of investigating the robbery from the Lees.
They find the
And
guy, their working guy, and he kind of tells them what happened.
yeah.
And
yeah.
then
What was said? There was something that was said specifically where that cued them onto there was a
It's the
booby
bolt
trap.
cutters.
bolt cutters.
The bolt cutters. That's right.
Bolt
Okay.
cutters.
So it was an old war thing
Yes.
where they would set a trap
As a
for
joke.
as a joke for the Germans. I think they were fighting the Germans, correct?
Yes.
They would leave bolt cutters or wire cutters there as like a calling card to like, yep, we rigged this place and somebody's gonna die.
And Tommy knew specifically that
Yeah.
it was most likely for him because most likely for him because they gave a bullet with his name on it.
Sure. Yeah.
So they said it's something we didn't expect because we would have set it off if we came in here.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they were already wandering around. They hadn't really touched anything yet,
Mhm.
but they were like, Tommy was like, if it's here, it would have gone off the second we walked
Yeah.
in.
Tommy's one step ahead
Yeah.
always.
And then
So-
he realizes, Oh shit.
there's only one thing that I'm the one who only uses, or I only drive this one thing. So he goes and checks his car. And this was like the
Scary shit.
tensest moment of the show for me, or not the show, but of like this episode, where he goes to the car and he sees it's young Finn, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Finn's sitting in his car.
He's sitting in his car and he's like, "Look, Tommy, I want to be just like you when I grow up." And
And
he's
he's
like,
just like, how did you get in there?
he's like, "I want you to get out exactly the way you got in."
and Finn doesn't do it.
Oh no, of course not.
'Cause
My
he's an
kids
idiot.
don't listen to me either.
Heads full of rocks.
Yeah, and but I was actually surprised because he did set the trap off, but there was a delay because the
Yeah.
grenade had like a, I don't know, 5-second
Actually,
fuse.
it was dynamite.
I thought no, it was a World War I grenade with
Oh,
the big knob
Yeah.
on the top and the
Okay.
stick on the bottom, which is probably just dynamite wrapped in something.
Yeah.
But he grabs it. I was really surprised that there was enough of a delay for him to actually
Yeah.
react, grab it. But then he just fucking throws it into a crowd of people.
Yeah,
He's
there's
like,
a couple of dudes
He
right
said
there.
clear. He said clear.
Clear. And the guy looks
He's
over
like,
there.
what the hell? You
And I
could have
think-
killed us.
And I think there is still too little daylight from the war where people knew clear.
Yeah,
okay, we're
yeah,
going.
yeah, for sure. These guys have
Yeah.
all been in the war.
Yeah.
They all knew exactly what to do. I just thought it was funny because from the angle of the camera, he just goes, "Hey!"
And then people afterwards, they just kind of like get back up. kinda
Yeah,
slowly
yeah.
adjust,
Yeah, like-
okay, we're
And
going
then
back in.
Tommy tells Finn, "This is why you don't want to be like."
Yes, exactly. It was a little subtle undertone of like, you don't want to be. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
those old timey grenades. As soon as you pulled the pin, it was basically like a countdown to
Yeah.
when it went
Yeah.
off. Because basically, you pull the pin, you're holding it, and you have to like throw it. So there is a bit of a delay. In fact, there's that funny Simpsons episode where, my great grandfather died for holding a grenade for too long at World War I. Where he's
Isn't
giving
that
this like big speech.
Grenades work.
Yeah, most of
Pull
them.
the pin.
Well,
There's a delay and you throw it and
well,
they go boom.
Well, modern grenades, you have to hold down the clasp in order to keep it from being armed. Actually,
That's right. Yeah.
so but
So you can-
but in
yeah.
World War II, it was or World War One, I should say. Like basically, as soon as you pulled that pin, you were on the
Alright.
clock to get.
I'm
rid of
not
the
a
thing.
grenade expert.
Me neither.
All right, so this next scene, I need a little bit of feedback. I need a little bit of help from this. So
is where Tommy is prompted to go make a deal with the lead.
right, so he walks in with the flag of truce
Mhm.
or peace or whatever, white flag. Walks into the Lees. Now he goes and sees the
mother.
matriarch of
Yeah.
the Lee family. Is that who
Yes.
this is?
She's the Polly.
Okay, she's the Polly of the Lee family. For some reason, I got some weird impression that she was like a fortune teller or something.
She is.
She is
probably
that
is too.
also.
Yeah.
So both are true.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I got really confused there
They're
for a second.
gypsies, man.
But Jude, can you run me through this scene? Can you
So
oh,
pulled up. Nice.
yeah.
I'm watching along as we
So Tommy walks in and she tries to make him swear on the Bible, and he's like, "I don't believe."
Nope.
She's like,
And then they start speaking in another language. I think it's Romani.
"It's
Yeah.
Romani."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tommy tells her like he's gonna double cross Kimber.
Yes.
Kimber.
Yes.
Kimber.
Kimber.
Okay. And she's like, you're basically you're here to tell me, like, try and make a deal with me as though you're being honest with me while you tell me that you're going to double cross this guy that
Yeah.
you made a deal with.
Who you already
How are you-
double crossed me for
Yeah.
to get into him.
How
Yeah.
can I trust you? Well, he makes a deal that we'll find out about later.
Mhm.
But he also does the whole like Vin Diesel, we're family type thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tommy lives his life 1/4 mile at a time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
With a horse. So it's
Yeah.
a little slower.
Yeah.
An eighth of a mile.
Did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I thought that was good. It was interesting, and this will come into play a little later.
Yeah. It's just
Mhm.
moving those pieces
Moving the chess
around on the
pieces.
The chess
board.
pieces.
Which this show just does an excellent job
Yeah.
of.
Doesn't it though?
Yeah, it's so good.
Little bits.
God, I miss good shows like this.
Ah,
I just got done watching the season 8 of Game of Thrones.
why would you do that on purpose?
I wanted to refresh my memory.
So Ada's super pissed at Freddie.
Yes, they're in
They're
this
in
shitty little closet, 1-bedroom apartment.
Don't
and
even have a
he's
shower.
he's taking a bath in a freaking glorified
And he's like, "Get my back, bitch."
trough.
And she's like,
She's
"Fuck
pregnant
you."
on a bed that's probably made out of freaking straw, and
Yeah.
she's just like, "Bro,
Fuck you with your.
She's like,
I saw how much money Paulie gave you.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. And she's like, and I saw that envelope you just gave away,
Mhm.
full of money.
Full of that money, probably. Do you think he just took it directly? Like took the money that Paulie gave him and gave it to this
They were
guy?
probably on their honeymoon.
Made a couple other
He
deals.
was making deals over there too. And he's
Yeah.
probably been doing this the entire time.
He said it's for the cause.
Yeah.
Cause.
I give two shits about your cause.
Fuck
dude.
your cause.
I gave, I feel bad for Ada.
And she still thinks that she has any kind of sway over him, that she can bring him back and do right by his family. And she's just deluded.
Yeah.
Because
It's
she loves
very
him so
brief.
much.
He's too much of a diehard for the cause. That
Yeah.
I don't
he loves
think
the
he's
a
cause
true
more than
believer.
he loves her.
He's
Yeah.
a true believer.
Yeah.
She's able to distract him temporarily.
Yeah.
So even though Freddie's an idiot, Tommy's still trying to protect him.
Yeah.
So Polly floats the idea of Tommy making a deal for Freddie because Polly has the info on Stanley,
Right.
and she gives it to Tommy. And Polly's trying to like move those chess pieces too. And if
I like
we
that
work together.
I like how she approaches Tommy.
Yeah,
I'd like
she's
to
like,
suggest a
I have
strategy."
this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
And this scene.
it's gonna
Yes.
be more important than giving Freddie over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how about if we make a deal?
So they give another guy, another troublemaker.
Basically, it's like
Stanley.
we're gonna give you a bigger fish than
Yeah.
Freddie.
And this is the guy that Freddie just gave the money to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. So basically, he meets with Sam Neill.
Yeah.
And basically, he kind of says, "I give you this guy." He's like, "But I want Freddie."
And he's like,
so
"Yeah, but this is a bigger deal."
this is a bigger
Freddie's,
deal.
Freddie's small potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
And,
Yeah.
and here's
this guy's basically the point man for the Russians, the Bolsheviks.
Yes,
in
that's
the
what it
UK.
was.
Stanley Chapman is the
yeah,
guy's
the
name.
Bolsheviks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so basically, he's saying, "Well, I'm getting pressure from Winston Churchill." Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And
That
then
sounds like a you problem.
yeah. But then this is the thing that makes it so interesting is that he then threatens. He says, "If I'm pulled,
Oh yeah. This is
if I'm pulled by Churchill before
you will
I get
know
this
my
guy.
wrath.
you'll know
He's-
my wrath." And
I love it.
he threatens Ada. He threatens his family. And this is one of
Well, this is the only card he has left to play.
exactly.
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
one of the very few times Tommy almost makes a very
Almost
rash-
breaks.
He almost makes a rash decision.
Yeah.
Because he just like pulls the gun on him and is holding him,
Yeah.
even though he doesn't see
Well,
it.
And Sam Neill knows too.
Yeah, that like,
course
but
it is.
the whole threat thing here is kind of interesting because basically Sam Neill he does the typical thing with Tommy where he's like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your family, but I'm going to leave the youngest one alive, and I'm going to put
Oh,
him
this is
in
brutal.
the
Yes.
in the
Ooh.
prison where men tend to like young boys like
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
and basically
It's
he's
brutal,
like,
dude.
I'm going to let them have their way with him, and blah blah blah, and that's the thing that really sets
Yeah.
Tommy off.
And I think like I can't blame it. Like he's a bigger man than me because I'm
I
like
would have shot him. Yeah.
Would have busted his jaw first and then other things. But yeah.
Yeah, but the thing about Tommy is that like he's always so controlled, and when Neil is threatening him, like he's just looking at him steely eyed, like no emotion. He's got the poker face on, and the minute he turns to walk away, Tommy has that moment where his instincts are like, I gotta take this threat out,
Yeah.
but he knows that he still needs him for his plan.
Yes.
So like he just has this brief moment of weakness, and then he's like, okay, like I can't kill him yet,
Yes.
but I'm gonna.
But it also
Yeah.
sets up this awesome dynamic between the two of them where it's like, yes, last episode, Tommy got the overhand on this
Oh, yeah, he
detective.
dog walked him. Yeah.
Completely smashed his whole plan is completely gone. Tommy one-upped him. And now the only thing he has left to do, he's like, all right, you win. You win. But
you know what? That's
if
what-
you don't work, if this doesn't work out the way you want it to, and
Mhm.
I get blamed for it, it's freaking scorched earth.
But you know what also was? I almost forgot. Another thing about that scene was also giving back the guns. That was the thing I almost forgot
Yeah.
about that. That was it. Because it wasn't even just about Freddie. It was also giving back the guns to him too.
Yeah.
Well, it was also so like Sam Neill's like, if I get demoted
Mhm.
and relieved, so like that's a personal thing for me because like I lose my job.
My
Yeah.
last day.
But in addition to that, he's also putting a time constraint on Tommy where
Yes.
he's like, look, you better, move up your schedule here and deliver these guns that you said. Otherwise, if this happens before you make good on your deal, I'm going to come after you, and this is what I'm going to do.
come after you.
And you're not going to know because it'll be on my last day as a police officer.
Whenever that is. Whenever that is.
Whenever that might be,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we hard cut to Detective Sam Neill over here.
And here's a big, when he goes and kidnaps the Bolshevik dude.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing too about that. I think the scene was after the arrest. This was such a key thing. And I think this will, again, you guys know better than me, but I think this will lead to Sam Neill's downfall.
Mhm.
Was when he was talking to that one guy who interfaced with Tommy in the last episode, that one detective, when he basically said, oh yeah, I'm going to break my word to him. I'm not honoring my word.
Mhm.
And the guy was just like, wait, what? You gave your word?
Oh, to his sergeant?
And
Yes.
he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
To a Peaky Blinder?
Yeah.
Who would be stupid enough to think I would keep my word to a Peaky Blinder?
And I think the big thing there is, aside from the fact that he wasn't in the war, he's also a man without honor.
Yes.
So that right there is just like, ooh, that was a big mistake you made there.
Yeah.
Like to flaunt that so obviously.
Yeah.
I can't get over the way Sam Neill looks in this scene with his bowler hat and his pipe, and he just looks like a freaking cold,
Mhm.
just awesome detective, ripped right out of a comic book or something. I love it, man. I love the aesthetic of this show.
He's looking a little Watsonish.
Yeah, very much so. Like
Yeah.
a cold-blooded Watson. Mr. Chapman, you're fucked. Oh, what a great line, dude. What a great line. That's so awesome.
Nice.
So
Things
so
don't
this
go
is
well for him.
yeah. So the next scene after this is what you were talking about, where he's
Yes.
talking to his sergeant. His sergeant's like, "Hey, what's the plan here? What do we do?" He's like, "I'm not keeping my word to a Peaky Blinder."
I'm still going after Freddy.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
thing. He's not going to protect Freddy. I'm still going after Freddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's going to lead to his downfall,
Lies.
and rightfully so.
Paulie meets up with Freddy at his mother's grave.
Yes.
Okay. And
Sure.
she's like, I know he's going to be there. So he goes there again, trying to extend an olive branch to this guy. And he just refuses.
Yeah.
There's been, 4 escape routes for him at this point?
She just keeps on trying.
Just keep, like, bro.
It's like, come on, I can only try so
Because she's-
Freddy,
because
do
she-
you not want to live?
It's
Freddy?
like, honestly, there's Ned Stark, and then there's this dumb
This
shit.
is the Theon Greyjoy of this show.
Yes.
It's like, God damn it, man.
Damn it, you and your stupid ass haircut.
He really is the Theon Greyjoy of this show, huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
And then-
I'm painting a picture
And
in my
even
head now.
worse,
Yeah.
he puts hands on her.
Oh, he gets grabby
Bro.
with Polly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro,
Bro.
bad move.
Bro.
This is the only
She-
person left.
He's lucky she didn't kiss him and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood."
I thought for sure she was going to pull a gun on him and shoot him in the nuts.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
deserved it.
Like,
You already got your kid out. So
Yep, Ada's got your
Well, you
kid.
can't afford to take care of one kid, so let's make it so you don't have any more.
Let's turn you from a rooster to a hen.
But even that made me like, I already don't like this guy as a character.
Yeah, he's.
But
the
then
worst.
when he threatens and puts hands on Polly, that was like, okay, they're forcing me to hate this guy, so I
Yeah.
don't feel bad when he dies later.
Right.
That's basically what's
Yeah.
happening.
Oh yeah.
It's like they're doing everything they can to make sure I don't care what happens to him.
Yes.
1,000%.
Dumb
Yeah.
mother fracker.
Yeah.
And then it turns out during the interrogation, things went a little too far with Stanley.
Yes.
Oh, bro, yeah. He's like,
And that's we forgot, like with Sam Neill, what he said to the sergeant was
He's like-
also, "Don't be soft on him."
yeah, take him down there and beat him until he talks.
Yeah.
And that's what he did, and the guy just eventually croaked.
Yeah.
But the visuals of this scene where he's walking down, you got the light, and you just got this guy strung up in the background.
But an important part in the graveyard scene is that he basically said, like, hey, the guy doesn't know where I live. It's designed like that, independent cells.
That's right,
So you
yes.
basically just signed the death warrant of an innocent man.
Mm.
And basically, like, no matter how bad they beat this guy,
He's not
like,
gonna
he-
know.
Yeah, he didn't know anything about like where to find Freddy. Or
That's
any of
true.
that
I don't think
stuff.
they're going to lose sleep over that,
Not so
to
much.
be honest with you.
No.
Sam Neill's brutal in this scene too, because he's like, "Oh well, you fucked up.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have killed him, but I guess bygones be bygones. We'll just say that he fell down the stairs. Take his
Yeah,
dead body
take it,
and throw it down the stairs."
Yeah. So we're starting to see the holes in this guy's armor, right?
Yeah.
Because he has this very holier than thou presence
Mhm.
up until this point when he
Yeah.
starts getting desperate. And when he starts getting desperate, that's when he starts doing some
basically-
shady
it's-
shit.
It's very akin to season 5 of The Shield when Forrest Whitaker was going after Vic Mackey, and he was kind of like, "I follow the law to the letter." And when Vic kept evading him,
Mhm.
he started cracking,
Yeah.
and getting desperate.
Yeah.
Well,
And
the
basically,
show
yeah.
wants you to think that Tommy is the villain and Sam Neill is the good guy because he's the cop, and it's just not true.
Yeah.
They're all villains.
They're all villains. In this
It's
show.
bad and then worse.
But Tommy wants to
Go
get
legit.
out of crime.
Does he though?
Well, I
He
mean,
wants to go legit.
the big thing in this episode was they got their legitimate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dealing
This is the
license,
first time I've
license.
ever seen Tommy smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I think is what happens next. So great
Yeah.
segue.
Yeah.
So actually, what he does first,
Yeah.
he meets Billy Kemper. and
Yes.
goes
Billy
to-
Kemper's here.
And basically, I think it was through them that they were able to get that legitimate license.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was the plan to begin with.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because that, like, so at this point, we've established it's been a couple months because Ada's pregnancy is progressing. So at this point, the Shelby company has been working with Kimbers as their like muscle for a
Mhm.
couple months now. They've proven themselves,
Mhm.
and this is the deal coming through. Where okay, if you prove yourself, you make yourself worthwhile, I'll give you a legitimate license to be a bookie.
And this is why it's good to now betray him because he got what he
He got what he wanted.
Yeah.
Now I'm done with him. I don't
Yeah.
need him anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how again Kimber. I know Kadish loves this part because Kimber is just like, you deal with this nonsense. I'm gonna go over here and buzz off
Yeah.
because he's not. He's like, I don't know if this is a good deal. I don't know what's going on. He's just an idiot
Well,
who's
the-
just
Yeah.
He doesn't know his numbers.
The interesting thing about Tommy's kind of
Gambit.
negotiation with the Mama Gypsy,
Mhm.
Mrs. Lee, I guess, is that what we're calling her?
I'll
Yes.
call her. I call her Mama Lee.
Yeah,
Mama Lee.
Mama Lee. So he basically said that it's okay if I betray Kimber because he's really not the brains of the operation. It's this other guy. We're going to keep him around. We're
Yeah.
just going to get rid of Kimber.
Moving
That's a
those
good
chess
point.
pieces.
Good point.
And then
The Shelbys are legit skis now.
the
Yep.
Jitskis, yeah. And he kind of tells to his brother, and everyone is like, yay.
Yeah, we got the piece of
And I
paper.
think it's John's name on the license, right?
John, what do you mean?
John Shelby.
The dad?
No,
Oh, younger John.
yeah,
Young
it's
John?
John's name on the license,
Young
right? Because
boy.
they're using John as like the head of this thing.
Oh,
Tom-
I didn't pick
see
up on
that.
that.
I think that's what happened.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because Tommy's like the behind the scenes guy.
Yeah.
So he uses John to be like the Shelby
front.
that's on the paperwork.
Mhm.
And then he uses Arthur to be kind of the quote, quote, head of the Peaky Blinders.
Yep.
Even though he's the one who's manipulating and all that. Okay. Then we see an interesting scene between
Arthur
And
and
Grace.
Grace.
Oh,
So
Arthur's just spilling all the secrets.
Arthur is not
And
the
he's bad at math.
clandestine.
He's not a
Yeah.
Mensa candidate.
I can't do this math. Come over here and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
tell you all my
Look at
secrets.
numbers.
Can you count this money
Look at
for me?
numbers. Count this
With
money.
some of those smelly cigarettes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, what was
Maybe
wrong?
he's like, was my math right? And she goes, it is now.
Yeah. And she even talks shit about him later to Tommy. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, Arthur's not good with the numbers.
Yeah.
Um,
He goes, I heard you're good with numbers. And she goes, well, that's a high
'Cause
praise because he's really
he's
bad.
really
at
bad
it.
at 'em.
I'm
Yeah.
actually not that good.
But it was actually a smart thing to do because
it-
again, showing her worth,
yes. Yeah.
integrating herself more with the family
Now
business.
she's getting deeper and deeper in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Arthur, I mean, he doesn't move on this at all, but he does. He does give
he's
it.
checking her out.
He gives a glance. He's
Of course
like,
he does.
God. Well, she is beautiful. So I get it, man.
This is very true.
But yeah, Arthur's very easily manipulated, and Grace admits that later on in this episode. I think when she's talking to
He's
the
a
detective.
man that leads by his vices.
Grace passed on some information that I think she might have seen or heard from Arthur. Is
Oh,
that
that's right, because they were talking about a shipment that they
Yes.
were moving. And so he
Yes.
goes and raids it. That's right.
He goes and raids the storehouses where they have the liquor and the cigarettes, thinking
Yeah.
there might be the guns there.
Maybe the guns are there
Yeah,
as well.
basically Arthur spills how they kind of
Yeah.
keep on the move and keep all their contraband from getting seized and discovered and stuff like that. And then Grace passes that on to Sam Neill.
Yeah.
And then he goes to all these different locations hoping to find the guns, but he just finds booze and cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
then but they couldn't take anything or else it would kind of
Right.
it would,
It would,
out her.
yeah, it would
Yeah.
out her. But while they meet, Sam Neill just keeps getting more and more familiar with her. Like he keeps
Yes.
touching
Yeah,
her
he keeps
more.
edging in on her.
He
It's
keeps
so
trying
weird.
to grab her more. He like grabs her arm and he's just getting more and more familiar with her and more possessive with her as she's doing this undercover.
This ain't
work.
some father-daughter shit.
This
Not
ain't
anymore.
some father-daughter shit.
Oh.
I fucking called that.
He also starts kind of admonishing her about getting too deep undercover
The
and
Shelbys.
and basically he's worried that she's actually starting to feel something for Tommy.
But she is.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, but he clocks it and he's like
She clocks it before she does, actually.
Yeah, because she doesn't like, I don't know. I never get the impression that she has the hots for Tommy. I think she maybe,
She's
in a way,
intrigued.
admires him.
She's intrigued.
Intrigued is a good word for it. Yeah.
She's so undercover, she's starting to believe her undercover.
But the thing that's
identity.
interesting about it is that because Tommy, he's just slick as shit. He kind of clocks that one. She lied about another thing.
Mhm.
And he's just like, come with me. And she's kind of a little like,
Well, she should be. Yeah, they go to the church again.
yes.
Go to the church, and this is where he officially asks her to basically be the secretary for the Shelbys.
Yes.
Like, I want you to be in on the bookkeeping. I want you to be helping us out, which is interesting because if he knows she's lying about a bunch of different things, and yet he's still willing to do this, and then after what he did to her last episode, basically like handing her over to Kimber. And now she's like, oh, yeah, I'll
Well,
take the job.
Then
But
there's what he does to her this episode.
what the touchy feely stuff?
Oh, he
They
kissed her.
kiss.
He kissed her.
They do.
You just missed it. You were looking at me.
I don't remember the kiss.
I do remember it. I was like,
Oh, okay.
Well, basically, he's like, there's one more thing, and I'm ashamed to admit it, but then like he goes in and he like gives her a kiss, and when they pull back, she's like, I'm so disappointed.
Yes, that's right. She did. Yes. Because it lingered. It wasn't just a peck.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so he basically makes his intentions clear. He's like, I'm basically hiring you because I got the hots for you.
God, bad move, man.
So Tommy goes and seeks out John's new fiance,
Yes.
Lizzie Starkey.
and he's like, I just want to tell you how happy I am for you.
Come in the
But
car.
here's some money.
Well, no. Hold on. Because
Well, here's what he does. He's kind of carrying her groceries, and he's just like, "Oh, I can help you." And initially, she's like, "Oh, I'm fine." No, I can help you with your
He
groceries.
tricks her.
Yes.
yeah. Well, he lulls her into a false sense of security.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then he starts talking about all the good times they used to have.
Mhm.
And
He's like, before you marry my brother, I'd like just one more roll in that hay. What do you say?
Here's
Which surprised me because
8 pounds or whatever.
this must have been before the war, because I thought he was like kind of asexual, but I guess not.
No,
No, this was after the war. She was the only one that he sought comfort with.
Yeah.
And so like
I don't think they were fucking.
no,
What?
No, they
No.
were.
Oh,
Really?
definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's
Yeah.
definitely sexy times.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a prostitute. He paid her for sex.
And he's not asexual. How do you get asexual off of him?
He always just look.
He's
At least
just-
the episode.
He's just got better things to do than And when he needs some action, he goes. And
Maybe it's just we never saw him show much interest in other.
Well,
women.
he Charlie Sheens it. He pays them to go away. He doesn't
Yeah.
want
I mean,
he doesn't
this-
want those emotional connections.
one of the storylines is him hooking up with the secretary chick. I mean,
Well, he
Yeah.
hasn't
that's
hooked up
not
with her
asexual
yet.
at all.
Yeah. But here's the thing that really it was so disappointing. She
Why?
accepted the offer.
Yeah,
Yes.
he gets her to agree to one
And
last
and
time.
then as soon as she does that, he's like,
Yep.
I fucking knew it. I
Get out,
gotta
get out.
tell him.
Mhm.
She's like, please don't tell him. No. He's my brother. I'm
Oh,
gonna
I'm
tell
gonna
him.
tell him.
Well, the weird thing about it is basically he's a grown man. If he has all the information and he still decides that he wants to marry you, good on you guys. Like,
Yeah.
my blessing. But if he doesn't, that's up to him as well. So like basically Tommy, he tested her, she failed, and he's like, I got to give my brother all the information, and no matter what he decides, I'm going to back him.
Tommy confesses to John. John
Mhm.
doesn't
Yeah.
believe him.
Of course
He
not.
goes and confronts her, and this all happens off screen. But
Yeah.
he comes back and he says like, "Oh, I confronted her, and she said that you were a liar. But then I think it was like her sister or something. I got her sister a couple of drinks, and her sister was like, yeah, she still has some clients
Oh, no
Yes,
way.
that's right.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
And-
got a couple regulars. That's
just to
it.
keep the wolf away from the door." And basically, she's just doing what
Who's the
she
wolf?
has to
Who's the wolf?
survive. Just keep the wolves away. Yeah.
I mean, you can take the lady off the street. You can't take the streets out the lady.
is that the argument that we're gonna have right now?
With this one,
Like, well,
yes.
wouldn't John be taking care of her at this point, or not yet? Like, if he's with her regularly enough, and it's like that's his main squeeze, and he goes to her all the time, and now he's looking to marry her so
It
she can
is-
take care of the kids.
It is kind of one of those things where they just don't really.
They don't give you enough
explain.
information to really
No.
give you. Like, is she making ends meet just with
It-
John,
it's-
or does she
I-
need to do
honestly,
more?
I felt like this was kind of a really weird, contrived
Little
thing that they
abbreviated.
put in the show,
a little
Hmm.
abbreviated.
and it happened really, really too fast. And you're just like, okay, I guess we just needed to
But they
create
had
some
to
more
make it
family drama here
clear
for no
that-
reason.
They had to make it clear that John really needed a wife,
to help
and
Yeah.
then we find out what
Right.
happened
Right.
with Mama Lee
Yes.
And why does he really need a wife?
because he's got 4 kids and
Got
no wife.
Got 4 kids at
They're
home.
running around barefoot in the field.
Oh.
That's the way he
All right.
described it.
They're not being taken care of.
But
They're feral
Butters would just be
animals.
like, let him run around.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Feral
Always like, I'm
animals.
not taking care of these
Rub,
fucking kids.
rub some dirt on it.
Yeah.
They're just gonna turn into little street thieves.
So that being said, because of kind of the earlier things we talked about with the Lees, and because there's obvious reason for Mama Lee and her clan to distrust, Tommy uses his brother as another pawn in order to truly bind the Lees to the Peaky Blinders.
Well, what's great about the way that this is set up is basically, so Tommy's like, we're going to war with the Lees, and he gathers the troops, and they all
Yeah.
have their
And
weapons.
they all walk in like
But-
they're
but-
getting ready for
but
some
hey,
shit.
They're all looking photo shoot fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, very yeah,
Yes.
man.
Well,
they
you always
all-
do that
they
before
all
you go to a
shit
good
shower
rumble.
Of
shave.
course.
Yeah, you don't go to a rumble
This ain't
looking.
the outsiders.
No,
This is- you
no.
gotta look good.
And even the outsiders slick their shit
Oh yeah,
back.
dude. Yeah.
They put on their best leather jackies.
It's like nowhere to run, Johnny.
Mhm.
Nobody starts a rumble without me.
And then they all tell him because they all knew. It's
And
like,
they all present him with a little boutonniere for his lapel.
He's
So-
like, what's going
So
on?
it's like
What
they
is
fake
happening
him into
right now?
thinking he's gonna go to a battle, and then they marry him off to the Lees.
It's
Yeah.
basically a marriage ambush.
yeah.
That's so funny.
I'd run.
They have the Lees
There's
have a
no way.
daughter who has gone wild, and they need her to settle down, and John needs a wife. I don't know if this is a great pick to raise his kids, but this wild woman.
Yeah.
But
well, she's not wild in the way of Lizzie, so that's a good thing.
Different kind of wild.
yeah,
Yeah.
it seems.
Do we get a good look at her? Do we see?
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
cute.
She's cute.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's
Oh,
cute.
I
She
remember
takes
now.
Her veil off.
And Johnny's just like,
John
yes.
looks at her.
Yeah, he's like,
and then
oh,
he looks back at his brothers, and he's like,
Yeah.
He does look back. That's right. He's just like, yes.
Oh, man.
She's hot. Yes.
That's so funny.
But it is kind of like, so like when he starts freaking out and Tommy grabs him by the face and he's like, look,
Mhm.
if you don't go through with this, we go to war and
We
a lot
do
of
go to
people
war.
die.
Yeah.
If you go through with this, you get a mama for your kids.
Yeah.
You know, like we avoid war. There's peace between the families. Which one do you want to do?
Tommy's running this shit like it's the freaking 1300s and
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
marrying the Starks and the Lannisters together.
Yeah, exactly right.
Some dowry shit.
So the
man.
wedding happens right then and there.
Yeah.
Oh, and he gets a car in exchange for marrying her.
Yeah.
Good.
Or the
As a
dowry.
dowry. Was it
Yeah.
two horses or something like that?
Arthur's like, wait till you see the size of her dowry. They're giving you a car.
And he's like, what's a dowry?
And this
Yeah.
is the second time we see Tommy smile, by the way.
Yeah.
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 So Tommy gets Polly to, no, he gets Grace to ask Ada to come to the wedding.
Sure.
Yes.
Yep.
And Ada comes.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
And then
he
Ada
declares a
parties
truce.
a little too hard.
No, but here's
Go ahead.
because she asked Ada, that means she knew where Ada lived, the address.
Or they
Which will
could have.
come- which will come into play later. But anyway, go on. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did she know where Ada was? Well, did
Tommy told her. He was like, take this to my sister. Oh, no, he said, take this to my sister. She hangs out at this bathhouse.
Yes.
yeah, she was.
Go find her
It was
there.
like a public place.
But-
yeah.
Still.
But it was a woman's only bathhouse.
But still.
She knows where to find him.
I just
Yes.
put that together
Because somebody,
because Paul, when we get there, just get there.
So then,
ahead.
okay, then some stuff happens.
Yeah.
With Ada where she gets a little.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Ada-
Ada's been trapped in the house for months, and her husband isn't taking care of her.
Because she's drinking too. And so it's just like,
So
ooh.
she comes to the wedding.
Yeah,
and
well,
she's
everybody
like,
drank and partied
It
when
was
you're
the
pregnant
19
back
it was
then.
the
It was
early
like, yeah, it's the 1919s,
Yeah.
man.
You think
Yeah.
my mom didn't drink when she was pregnant with me?
Explains so much.
So yeah,
so
she
Ada's
gets.
having a good time. She
A little
wants to
too
dance. She wants to party. She wants to have some drinks. And she overdoes
pops
it a little
off
bit.
at-
And then, well, then
Tommy.
she pops off at Tommy and then literally starts popping off where her water breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just like, really at the wedding?
Yeah.
Because of course.
Oh yeah,
Hold
Arthur's
it.
like, you really sure know how to pick your timing.
And so they're all kind of waiting, and then they're
Yeah.
going to whoever the doctor is.
This poor girl on her wedding night is delivering her new sister-in-law's baby.
Right.
It's a hell of a wedding, man.
Yeah.
It's like the Dothraki.
And so
It's not,
then,
it's not a good wedding until there's blood.
and then like I think Polly's just like she needs a man there.
Yeah.
And so they're just like, okay,
And then Frank finds out about the baby and he shows up.
Freddie.
Freddie,
Why do I keep calling him Frank?
getting Cadis
No.
itis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am, huh?
I'm rubbing off on you.
Apparently.
Tommy declares a truce
Yeah.
until sunup.
Yes.
And if you notice, Freddie doesn't get there until sunrise.
God, he sucks.
Oh, and then the cops come in.
Yeah.
'Cause they must
So
have been-
Freddie comes in, he
Yeah.
meets his son, he's holding his son, and the cops just break down the door and
Yeah,
come in and take
immediately
him.
take him. Good, get him out of there.
Get
And
this
Polly
kid
is-
out of there.
See,
Yes.
that's
Polly blames Tommy.
Which
Well,
it wasn't his fault.
it's not his fault, but also like at this point, I hate this guy so much as a
Yeah.
person
It's
who's
like,
watching the
yes.
show. I'm like,
Block party.
But at the
Carry
end,
Ada off to one of the leads after we kill this fucking guy.
Yes.
but at the end, this is how they ended the episode. Paulie spits on
Paulie's-
the floor, curses
yeah,
Tommy, but then the last shot is him having a realization, I think, right? Of
Yeah.
how did they
How did they know
where he lived? And I think that's when he put two and two together.
he got betrayed. That's when
Somebody-
he realized that the detective betrayed him.
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
but the detective didn't know where Freddie lived.
But he knows where the Shelbys live.
He knows where Tommy lives.
But he knows, but the blonde girl took the invitation to Ada where Freddie lives.
But either way,
No, she
right?
took him to the
Either
bathhouse.
but either way,
well, whatever.
Sam
Guess I'm
Neill
wrong.
broke his word.
So yeah, so Grace told Sam Neill, I can't remember his character.
I know,
I know,
but
but
the inspector.
Inspector. Grace told him that, hey, Ada's having the baby at the Shelby's house. Freddie's probably going to be there. So they stake the place out.
Okay.
As soon as he shows up, the
Yes.
cops come in, swoop in.
Yes.
Polly blames Tommy, but Tommy says, we had a deal. He wasn't supposed to do that. He went back.
And
on his word.
she thought he was faking his surprise. He was just like, no.
No,
I
yeah,
didn't.
no. I had a deal. I set the deal. He
Yeah.
betrayed me.
Yeah.
And that's the end of this episode.
And again, that's going to, again, you guys know better than me. That's his lack of honor is going to be his downfall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that we're starting to see the domino effect here.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Man, there's nothing to make fun of in this show. It's
I
pretty
mean,
good.
we're happy that Freddie's gone.
Yeah. God, get that guy out of there. He's so annoying. But no, it's another great episode, and we've got what, 4 more to go or 3 more to
Two
go?
more.
2 more?
2
It's only 6?
more.
Only-
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, wow.
you know how the UK stuff goes. They do
Yeah,
these
that's
6
true.
episode seasons. No filler,
So the
Yeah.
no crumbs.
What?
okay, we got to bring drinks next time.
And
'cause it's the
meanwhile, up
penultimate
at
episode.
Downton Abbey, Mary is having problems with the prince.
When
So
Which season?
First season 1.
is season 1 in
When they opened it up.
1919?
That's right around there.
Right around there.
They were, yeah.
Actually, no, this is after World War One.
In
So this
season-
is,
I
this
think
is like
it's
season
first.
3. Season
Mm.
3.
Yeah,
I
because
think.
season
It's
1
like-
was because at the end of season 1 was right when World War 1 started.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Well, the Titanic just sank in the beginning.
Yeah, 1912.
So Mary's
We got a ways to go.
she's in charge of the
Yeah.
estate.
When are we starting our Downton
Downton Abbey
Yeah,
podcast.
Downton Abbey watch.
My wife can take
would
my
be-
spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine too. So, you know.
We'll all show up in our tuxedos and ball gowns.
Yeah.
and discuss this.
But either way, it was
Scotch is not aged properly.
Shall
Was
we
the-
take it to the drawing room?
Yeah.
Was this wine decanted before it was served?
Uh,
Honestly, it's really funny, and I know Downton
Why?
Abbey has nothing to do with this, but the difference of the 2 shows,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
the squalor, poverty stuff
yeah,
compared to the
the elite.
elite,
Well,
rich stuff is just
Downton-
and it's just they're probably 20 miles away from each other.
Oh
And,
yeah.
you know,
Because it's like Downton No Abbey.
Yeah.
yeah, it's wild.
Because I think and that's actually a
Mm.
real castle. I think I don't know where, but it's called Highclere Castle. That where they actually. built
Yeah.
that.
But you know what? There's still a lot of scheming in Downton Abbey.
It's just
Yes.
it's a good show. But these are
Isn't it
I
mostly
find the duality of the 2 shows.
Yeah.
Well, because you got
kind of
all
fun.
the highborns in there. These
the highborns.
the highborns with their marriage
Yeah.
stuff and
Figure
whatnot.
out at what point are the shows
Crossing out. Yeah.
consecutive
That would
and
be
do like a
great.
watch of each and compare them.
That'd be fun.
Because I think even like I don't know where they are in England, but I know that Birmingham, at least back then, was just a shithole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not that anymore, but from what I understand, it was like really just like
Yeah.
grimy back then.
All right.
Iron Lung.
Well, that is it for episode
4.
4
Mhm.
of Peaky Blinders season 1. A lot of fun. I love talking about this show with you guys. I wish we could joke about it more, but it's too good. It's just there's no holes for us to poke at. It's just it's everything's perfect.
And I do see what you're talking about in terms of the Lizzie Stark storyline, because it did feel a bit rushed, but
It was setting up the wedding for the end.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So maybe if had they mentioned that he had kids and nobody to take care of him earlier on in the season, like
That's why I was
Think
confused, because
so.
I didn't even know he had
don't-
any bastards.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even know his
Much less
wife was
4.
dead.
Yeah,
That he
yeah.
was married.
so they kind of just threw this in there just so they could have the wedding at the end, which
Yes.
is the plot point for the entire show. And they were like, well, how do we justify a marriage between the Shelbys
well, I
and the
think
Lees?
they've mentioned his kids before.
They had to have, right?
Yeah, in the
I-
very first episode, because she was talking about like the kids were in the house and
Yeah.
Finn grabbed the gun and the gun.
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because she went to John and just like, "Ugh, you idiot."
yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
And I initially thought she was just talking about John. I didn't know she was talking about his kids, like, because we've never seen them.
Yeah.
They're not real entities that we've seen.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
Almost blew Ada's tits off.
Nice.
yes,
All right.
awesome stuff.
All right, man. And women, thank you guys so much for joining and watching the show. Appreciate it. It's been awesome. We'll talk to you guys next week. We'll cover episode 5, which is the penultimate. So we'll definitely have some drinks. Bring a drink. It's a penultimate game.
Oh, great.
Every time we say the word, take a sip. All right, folks. Thanks so much.
English or Irish?
Irish.
Gaelic.
All right, folks. Stay salty. See you next week.